know who your enemy is, know who killed your heroes. If you want to know your enemy, study the history of black people who systematically destroyed our people, destroyed our schools, destroyed the black household, who put up abortion clinics in black communities, who systematically broke up the black household. That's it. So you are brainwashed within the educational system to love white people. Then you are brainwashed and educated to worship a white man that doesn't look like you. This is not a racist campaign. This is a truth campaign. Who are black people's heroes? Go to your history, and who are black people's heroes that we look up to?
Man, what, like Martin Luther King?
Give me some more. Who do we have? Who do we have left to look up to? In the history books that they write about. You say Martin, right? Who else?
You say Malcolm.
You say Malcolm. Who else?
You say Barack, Nelson Mandela. Who else? Okay.
Now, what about, you ever heard the Black Panthers? Would you say that's some of black people's heroes?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Who killed them?
Right.
Look it out.
Well, Fred Hampton, the white people.
Okay.
Huey Newton, us.
Okay.
Huey Newton, us. We killed them.
Huey Newton, like, actually, we got locked up in jail. We got put on drugs.
Yeah.
What about Fred Hampton?
Yeah, he was murdered.
What about Malcolm?
He was murdered.
Okay. Who was over all that? Who orchestrated that whole thing?
You already know the government.
Okay now, in order to know who your enemy is, know who killed your heroes. You understand what I'm saying?
Bring it up.
If you want to know who your enemy is, know who took them away from you. Your heroes away from you. You understand? And that's why we're trying. This is not a hate campaign. This is not a racist campaign. This is a truth campaign. That's another thing. Who systematically broke up the black household?
Bring it up.
The government, right?
Yeah, government.
Okay, who redlined black people in the community?
Government.
Who put up abortion clinics in black communities?
Bring it out.
That's it. If you want to know your enemy, study the history of black people. Who put laws in places, who systematically destroyed our people, destroyed our schools, destroyed the black household, who mass incarcerated our black, who implemented laws that put black men into the prison today.
Bring it out.
So that's what we're trying to tell people. Now read that again.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 48.
Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Now this is where we get a little bit slow. We look at the Bible and we look at the Bible as a universal book. Like you said earlier, the Bible, I don't believe in the Bible. Why? Because you've been taught by white people that has nothing to do with you. Why believe in something that you don't see a reflection or image of yourself? You want to see, when you look at a book, when you look at a mirror, you want to see you in it, right? You want to see power. You want to see a reflection of what you are. But white people, what they have done is, they took the Bible, they took our records, and they painted their reflection and their images. They took our history, they took our customs. Now you're walking around hating your own book. Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
And you don't think they're your enemies, because your whole life, you've been taught that the founding fathers of America, United States of America, George Washington was a great man. Thomas Jefferson was a great man. All the founding fathers, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. So you are brainwashed within the educational system to love white people. That after you get out of school, you go to what? Church on Sunday. Then you are brainwashed and educated to worship a white man that doesn't look like you. So now, when you get shot down in the streets, you go to church and pray to the same white man that shot you. Then you go to the court system and you plead the court system to the same white man that lynched you. Their ancestors lynched you, and they stuck there in the 60s, and the 50s, and the 1800s. They saw your ancestors. Those were the kids, the sons. The judges today were the kids of the fathers that lynched our fathers. But you go to the court, you beg them. You go to the teachers. Is the teacher the reflection of you? A lot of times?
Nah.
You go to the white teachers, and they're the educators of the people that killed you. So everything, the whole system is designed around your enemies ruling over you. Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies
Who's the one that's saying this? This is the Bible. The Bible's the blackest book, but we've been taught through the eyes of white society.
Right.
Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So God says, because you broke my commandments. We had laws, statutes, and commandments. We had a ruling government. We had a society at one point in time. That's why you could come up here and say, you know what? We ask you, what's your nationality? You've been in Newark. How old are you?
6.
You 36. How old are you, my brother?
22.
How old are you? 26. How you doing, man? How old are you?
72.
72. So you could, from the day you were born to the age that you are right now, we can ask you, what is your nationality? You could tell me one thing, African American. And I can tell you, my brother, how you doing? What's your nationality? African American. What about you?
African American.
What about you, man?
African American.
African American. Now, who gave us that title, African American? White people. So what do you have for your own? I asked you earlier, look at the dollar bill. Do you have an image of yourself on it? No. Look at the banking system. Do we control the banks? No. Look at the educational system. Do we control the education? No. Look at the church system. Does it reflect our morals? No. Our values? No. Look at the government. Does it reflect us? No. Why is it that us as black people, as smart as we are, as strong as we are, as intelligent as we are, why don't we have our own banks? Why don't we have our own court system? Why don't we have our own churches? Why don't we have our own monetary system? Why is this? Because our God told us why.
Bring it out.
Read it.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
So God sent the enemies against us. God sends the British against us, the slavery, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the French he sent against us. God sent America against us. The same people that you go to church to every Sunday, you worship the white Jesus, you go to school, you go to church, the court system, and you salute the flag. You pray for this country. You say, God bless America. God cannot bless America. Why? Because America destroyed God's people. America's the most wicked country in the earth. The most wicked people that we worship, that we love.
Right. And hunger, and then thirst, and then nakedness, and then want of all things.
This is the Bible. God says, because you disobey me, I gave you laws, I gave you statutes, I ruled over you. I created you. I chose you. You disobey me, now I'm going to afflict you. I'm going to punish you. No longer will you serve me for food, for water, for clothing, for health. Now you got to go to your enemies for all these things, and you're going to complain. Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Who sent our enemies against us? The Bible just tell you, God sent them against us. You've been taught in church, God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten son, that whoso believe in him, the church has been infiltrated by America's democratical practices.
Bring it out!
The church and the state in America is one and the same. That's why you can't separate the two. When you look at the Bible, you look at democracy. You look at all nations, all people. The Bible doesn't talk about all nations, all people.
Right.
It talks about one race of people that was chosen by God, given his law, statutes, and commandment, was given an opportunity to rule this earth, but because we chose to disobey him, God afflicted us and put us on a bottom society. Now you walk in Newark at 36-year-old saying, I'm African American. A name that the white man gave you. A name that you can't read in the Bible. You wonder why you don't know who you are. You wonder why you don't believe in the Bible. Because your enemies taught you everything that you know. Read it again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies,
Come on.
which the Lord shall send against thee.
God sent everybody against us. The East Indians, we served the East Indians in slavery.
Right.
We served the Chinese during the trans-Saharan slave trade.
Bring it out.
We served the Arabs during the trans-Saharan slave trade.
Right.
We serve our history. Somebody pull up the sign. Slavery is ingrained in Bible prophecy.
Bring it out.
Name me one race of people that we haven't served. Name me, why are we the only people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, are the only race of people that suffer the oppression that we suffer? But you have people in the land of Jerusalem saying that they're the Jews. How long have they suffered for? What they claim. The Holocaust lasted for how long? 4 years. How long has your black oppression lasted for? Huh? Forever. Forever and forever. Why do you think? Where's your reparations?
Bring it out.
Where's your restitution?
Right.
Where's your what? 40 acres and a mule.
Right,
Which is exclusive? Huh?
400 acres in Georgia.
400 acres in Georgia, right? What about the Central Parks that we used to own? What about the roads with the communities, the black economical thriving communities that we used to have control over? What about the airports that we built? What happened to that? Why was it destroyed? Why did they take over our crops, our land, our acres, our parks? Why? Because God says, you didn't want to serve me? I'm going to send the worst of the nations against you. You're going to have to serve them. Read on.
And hunger and in thirst.
You're gonna have to serve the other nations for food. Now, black people, we always talk about now, we gotta be self-sufficient. We gotta grow our own farms. We gotta own ourselves, because why? We know that you have McDonald's, Wendy's, these fast food restaurants. We understand it. We have an understanding now that the foods in the black community is different from the foods in the white community, right? We have an understanding in the black community that they're poisoning us, right? And that's why we try to be more self-sufficient and grow our own foods, our own earth, because we understand that we have a race of people that rules over us, that's mistreating us, that's poisoning us.
I was raped.
And for any man to do that to a beautiful woman like yourself, to be locked up in jail, you should never allow a man to mistreat you or abuse you like that and then not suffer the consequences. Because the society has turned their eyes or ears from our sisters. And that's why a man can take advantage of you, because he see that there's no power. Our sisters, they walk by with their dresses on. They know we can't touch the system. Because if we touch the system, we will have the whole streets of Newark or Patterson Field. We will flood this area of Jersey with thousands of men just for one man. We will bring that man to justice.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is